I'm Dr. Doug Weiss here with my lovely bride, Joni Lamb, and we are so honored that you've joined us today for an all-exclusive special celebrating our marriage in what we're calling Love's Miracle.
Yes, you know, through every high and low we've experienced in our journey, we've remained committed to fighting for each other, anchored ourselves to God and His Word. We've laughed together and have truly experienced a miracle of love.
When leaders in the Christian community make big personal decisions, especially around marriage and divorce, it often sparks strong reactions, both from their families and the public. That's exactly what happened in 2023 when Joni Lamb, president of Daystar Television, married Dr. Doug Weiss, a Christian sex therapist. What could have been a time of celebration turned into a moment of controversy and division, particularly with Joni's own family. At the heart of the issue was Doug Weiss's previous divorce, which raised questions among many believers about whether it aligned with biblical teachings. His explanation for the divorce didn't sit well with everyone, and some, including Joni's son and daughter-in-law, felt misled. This situation quickly became more than just a private matter. It turned into a public debate about faith, family, and leadership in the Christian world. Let's take a closer look at both sides of the story and why it stirred up so much attention.
If your spouse suddenly dies, and you very quickly move on to date somebody else, and you marry a year later, and you try to force your children to accept it, it is only going to help the root of bitterness, hurt, and resentment grow like a ragweed. If you truly believe the Lord brought the two of you together, if you truly believe this marriage is from God, that is for God then to deal with that with your children on the matter. It's not for you to browbeat them into accepting a new spouse. It's not for you to force them, to strong on them when they're still trying to go through the grieving process of getting over a very sudden and tragic death of their father. You win them over with your actions, not your words. If that marriage came from the Lord, that's up for the Lord to deal with your children. You continue to pray and be about your business that you are supposed to be doing with the Lord, not getting so involved in forcing your kids to accept something that they may in time, but they're not ready to accept. And I'm going to tell you that if you want to have a party in the room counseling or mediating between you and your son, the man that's been lining his pockets with money from Daystar for a very long time is probably not the person to put in that room. An impartial party, that has no skin in the game, is where you are going to get the most productive conversations happening.
Okay, here is the truth. In 2023, Joni Lamb, who's the president of Daystar Television, a popular Christian TV network, got married to Dr. Doug Weiss, a well-known Christian sex therapist. While their wedding made headlines in the Christian community, it also caused some serious family drama. Joni's son, Jonathan Lamb, and his wife Suzy didn't support the marriage. In fact, it created a big divide between them and Joni. They were upset because they believed that Doug didn't have solid biblical reasons for divorcing his first wife. In their eyes, his divorce didn't line up with what the Bible teaches about when it's okay to end a marriage. Not only that, but Jonathan and Suzy felt like Doug might not have been completely honest with the people he worked with, his clients, about the real reasons for his divorce. That made them question his character and whether he should be in a leadership role, especially in Christian ministry. Because of all this, what should have been a joyful new chapter in Joni's life turned into a very complicated and emotional situation. It's a reminder that personal decisions, especially for people in the public eye, can have big effects on families and communities, especially when faith is involved.
They say that she abandoned him. That's his excuse, that his ex-wife abandoned him. The ex-wife is running his business. The ex-wife from his own lips, we have other recordings where he said she was a faithful, good wife, a great mother for 30 something years, maybe 36, I'm not exactly sure, but over 30 years. And this part is the sad part. She was begging him to stay and not leave her. So when I hear one woman is begging this man to stay, a wife of his youth, and another woman saying, no, he's mine.
Doug Weiss, a Christian counselor and speaker, was once married to a woman named Lisa Weiss. Before he got married again in 2023 to Joni Lamb, a well-known Christian TV host, he and Lisa had already gotten divorced. That divorce became a big topic of discussion, especially among people in the church community, because it raised some questions. Doug said the reason he divorced Lisa was abandonment, which is actually a reason mentioned in the Bible for allowing a divorce. In 1 Corinthians 7:15, the Bible talks about how if an unbelieving spouse leaves, the other is not bound. Doug used that verse to explain why he felt his divorce was justified, but not everyone agrees with that explanation. Some reports suggest that Lisa didn't actually abandon him at all. In fact, she may have wanted to fix the marriage and get back together. There's even talk that she was helping run his business during that time. In a meeting where the divorce was being discussed, Doug said that Lisa had mistreated him and neglected him, but when people encouraged him to reconcile with her, he refused. What do you think about his action? In the end, the story of Doug Weiss and Joni Lamb is more than just about a new marriage. It's about how deeply personal choices can impact family, ministry, and public perception, especially when faith is involved. While Doug believed he had biblical grounds for his divorce, others, including Joni's own family, weren't convinced. The disagreement led to a painful rift that shows how complex these issues can be, particularly in the Christian community where moral standards and biblical teachings are taken seriously. Whether people side with Doug and Joni or with Jonathan and Suzy, this situation reminds us that relationships, forgiveness, and truth-telling matter. It also challenges all of us to handle personal struggles with wisdom, humility, and grace, especially when others are watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this situation?